fuck? Inside the country that kills disabled people. Oh, nah.
This is Canada, where the government will help you kill yourself.
Since 2016,
what the hell?
40,000 people have been killed using MAID.
A doctor that works in the hospital approached me and asked if I had ever considered asking for MAID. No, I was just asking for them to do something about it.
What's MAID? Is MAID that shit that makes you kill yourself?
Says about us that our response is to say, well, how about we offer you the choice to end your life?
What the fuck?
I have a lot to live for. I'm not giving up, and to even offer me that option is insulting.
I've been in the place that a lot of people who want MAID have been in, where they just want it for an ending. They're like,
so what is MAID? What is MAID? Medical assistance in dying. What the fuck? What the hell?
I've suffered enough. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
What's up,
And
Matthew?
I repeatedly,
What
I
is
think it's
it?
3 times, asked you about organ donation, where you're literally too poor to live. Let us take your organs, and you saved us $86 million.
Since 2016, Canada legalized euthanasia for those suffering terminal illnesses with reasonably foreseeable deaths. They called it medical assistance in dying.
That's
MAID.
crazy.
And in 2021, Canada controversially amended the law to extend MAID to people suffering from a grievous or irremediable condition that have no risk of a foreseeable death. And in 2022,
Nah, this thing
MAID
is actually
use
good as fuck.
increased
What the hell?
31%, with 13,241 MAID deaths, accounting for 4.1% of all deaths in Canada that year.
Logan in the
But
studio
with the
also
wait
vlogging
times
shit
to have the
low-key
government
fun.
help you unalive yourself being shorter than the
W.
wait time to receive pain treatment, long-term care, and
Well, I
other
didn't tell me
medical
anything.
support aim to improve the quality of life for people
I'm
with
good.
serious
Just got back from
illnesses.
the gym.
Many Canadians fear the government is making it easier to die than to receive the medical care that the disabled, elderly, and mentally ill need.
That's actually crazy.
Non-contributing members of society, so the
86
homeless are
million
being
for a organ is
targeted, elderly
insane.
are being targeted, mentally ill are being targeted.
Allowing the state to make decisions about who should live and who should die. You don't know what kind of monster you're likely to conjure up doing that.
But why is Canada helping more people end their lives more than any other country on earth? Is MAID a program to give those who are suffering a more dignified death? Or is MAID a dystopian eugenics program designed to kill those stressing Canada's overburdened socialized healthcare system? I hit the streets of Toronto to see what Canadians think about MAID and who should qualify to be able to die.
Yeah, but with free healthcare, bro,
Medically assisted.
you would think they'd be able to find something for like people that are like mentally deficient and shit like that, bro, and disabled people. Like y'all niggas literally have free healthcare, bro. Why would y'all give free health? Why would y'all give free healthcare out if y'all aren't gonna stand by that shit and actually give niggas the healthcare that they need, bro? I want to play COD today. Well, I know you're forcing me. I'm down to play COD.
The death here in Canada?
I mean, I think under the right circumstances,
Minecraft,
yeah. I've lost a family member to it, but it's a different type of grieving. But yeah,
Hey, if that's what you want, I guess go for it. If you got some mental illness, maybe that should be something that we look closer at.
I'll be down, fuck it, bro.
Especially for older people, like, you know, if you want to go, you have every right to if you want.
What about a minor?
Not a minor, I would think. You definitely need to be able to, you know, legally make your own decisions.
Say I'm depressed and I go to the state and say, hey, I want you to kill me. Do you agree with that or too far?
Too far.
Too far?
Yeah, it's too far.
Good or a bad thing?
Good.
Do you think it should only be accessible to terminal illnesses or mental illnesses as well?
Illnesses
Yeah.
as well.
What was the situation you lost your family member to in that context?
Bro, that's a crazy fucking question, bro. That's really a crazy fucking question, bro. Like, what? Did y'all not hear what the fuck he said?
Not a minor. Especially for older people, like, you know, if you want to go, you have every right to if you want.
What about a minor?
Not a minor, I would think. You definitely need to be able to, you know, legally make your own decisions.
Say I'm depressed and I go to the state and say, hey, I want you to kill me. Do you agree with that or too far?
Like, just going to the fucking state and be like, yo, I don't fucking like my life. I want you to kill me. Like, what, my nigga? Like, what, bro? Niggas ain't even trying to turn their life around, bro.
Far.
Too far.
Too far?
Yeah, it's too far.
Good or a bad thing?
But look, at the same time, I feel like everybody does have their own decisions and can make their own decisions. So if that's something that you want, you can do it. But at the same time, I don't think you should do that. I feel like everybody should live life, bro. Everybody should live life, bro.
Good.
Do you think it should only be accessible to terminal illnesses or mental illnesses as well?
Illnesses
Yeah.
as well.
What was the situation you lost your family member to?
I wouldn't
in
even
that
let
context?
mentally ill people
Cancer.
do that kind of
When
stuff,
you know
bro.
it's terminal,
I said,
you've
fucking
got
that, drop me
18
down, bro.
years of a phenomenal fight.
Yeah.
But you get to the point where you just want to be on your way with dignity, and I think it was a difficult thing for those left behind, but an important thing to be available to her.
Do you think she died a more dignified death, in her opinion, than she would have otherwise?
100%, because she was in her full capacity, and she made her own decisions on that.
It's a bad thing.
Bad thing?
Personally, I don't agree with it. When somebody is in that state in their life, they shouldn't have to decide on things like this.
Not in the mental position to make a competent decision?
In general,
Literally,
I think for we human, we shouldn't encourage this sort of behavior. It will probably just bring some other problems in the society.
I mean, I agree. Some people maybe don't.
Thinking that the suicide rate's going up, bro. Hell no. Sound good and God join you on call tonight, or will you be occupied? Nigga, you can join me on call, bro. Yeah, now everyone should only die by natural causes unless they have terminal illness. Facts.
Want to live because they are in bad conditions. So I think it's good
But
that
nah,
they
going up to the statement like, yo, y'all niggas can kill me, bro. I don't feel like I should live no more. That's fucking insane, bro. Like, what, bro? Everyone should have a means of living, bro. Like, everything takes time, bro. You can always change the situation that you're in, bro.
decide.
What about, let's say I have an illness, a mental illness, like severe depression? Do you think I should be able to end my own life via the state?
I don't think so because
For depression, it's
maybe
crazy.
with
Nah.
therapy you can and pills you can
Exactly.
improve.
Okay.
But it's different if you are like in bad conditions physically.
It's horrible. Horrible?
Yeah. I'm a little undecided.
Yeah.
But I think if it makes someone happy and they choose it, I would be comfortable based on their decision. If someone's like, yo, do this, I would question that.
Okay.
What's the intent behind it, right?
Do you think your Canadian tax dollars should fund a program that is killing Canadians?
When you position it like that, no, of course not.
No? Yeah, I guess that's framing. State-funded euthanasia then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Probably
Your own money is
Like,
going
if
towards a
some
cause like
choice,
that?
maybe we
Nah.
more privatized. Yeah, I feel like our tax dollars can be used for something way better than what's going on right now.
Do you support state-funded euthanasia?
I do. Yes.
What if I'm like severely depressed? Do you think I should qualify to go die by the state?
No, I think
Hell
you
no.
should help people for that. Euthanasia only for people who are very sick or, terminal.
It depends, again, like it's case by
I'm already
case.
in that shit,
If
Matthew.
you're like 24, that's really young and like.
I think that we need to look at if this person is wanting to commit suicide, then we need to look at mental health issues, not just let's just kill each other.
I don't know. I think that it's being used in the wrong way in many
Yeah, find a-
instances.
find a
I think now it's
solution,
getting
bro.
applied in situations where I don't think it should be. So financial hardship, most especially mental illness, but especially financial hardship. I've heard of some stories where people just hand to mouth and they can't get out of it, and this is being proposed to them as an option, and I just think it's disgusting in that
Sure.
way. So yeah.
I think in general it can be a good thing. I think it's been probably overextended with a little oversight.
Do you think it's being
good lad,
offered
Bobby.
to people who perhaps should not be offered death?
That's a difficult thing to ascertain because I do think that people do have agency and should have a lot of say in their own matter. It's just a question of probably needs to be better vetted by regulatory bodies, in this case generally physicians. In this,
Do you think it should be state-funded? Last question for it.
we do have a healthcare system that is state funded, so if done appropriately, yes, I do.
Do you think, given that Pandora's box is open here, that it'll be sold to certain individuals as a quick fix?
I mean, my understanding is that it already has been, instead of providing a more holistic and more compassionate approach, because I think it might be a quick fix. I think if you have a terminal illness and that's an option you want to take advantage of, I think more power to you, but I just think that it's been pushed in ways that it shouldn't be.
So a government program where I can die if I want to die, if I get 2 doctors to sign off. Good or bad?
I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be
What?
someone's choice. They're right. If you don't want to
Well,
live
I'm
in a
so
body that
50-50
doesn't
with
work
this shit,
anymore,
bro.
it should be your right to be able to go. So yeah, I think it's a personal choice. I mean, it's not for everybody, obviously, but I'm telling you, what I see in a long-term care home is pretty sad. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be able to not know if I'm hungry or feeding myself or taking care of myself. So I think it's a good thing.
I'm
and I hope we keep it.
That's track 1, obviously, right? That's the terminal illness. Do you think that should extend to, let's say, mental illnesses, like severe depression or something something like that?
Yeah, I think it should include that to certain degrees, with like lots of peer review, more than one doctor, lots of information thrown at it before any decision made. Yeah.
But what about those who are not terminally ill but still want to die? Let me introduce you to Mitchell, a 42-year-old man who's considered MAID as an option to escape his mental illnesses and financial destitution.
We're here discussing MAID. How did you get acquainted with MAID? Tell me a little bit about your story. You kind of start at point zero.
Sure. The first time I learned about MAID was about 4 years ago. I was living in an absolute slum. It had black mold, a foot up the walls. My cat was really sick. My landlord was extremely abusive. He would knock on the window with a machete. We were raided by police twice, where I'm standing in my boxers.
Nigga, that is your machete.
A foot up the walls. My cat was really sick. My landlord was extremely abusive. He would knock on the window with a machete.
Nigga, what the fuck? What the fuck? You would knock on your window with a machete if you didn't fucking pay rent, my nigga? No, what the hell?
We were raided by police twice, where I'm standing in my boxers being searched and my room's being searched, and I didn't know why. And I was paying $600 a month Canadian for that place. And eventually I hit a breaking point and I learned about MAID and I started to fantasize about it. I was like, that's my release. I can't do it myself. I've had passive suicide most of my life, so I haven't been able to act on it. And I was like, well, that's my way out. And so I started writing letters and I started getting myself ready to apply. I didn't get the documents. There was nothing printed. They were still kind of laying out the rules and they would have had it printed out by them, but they postponed it like the week before for 2 years. So 2027, March 17th is when MAID for solely mental illness will come into play. Tracks back to around when I was 17. That was the first time I was hospitalized, and they put me in there for a couple months, and I found out I had social anxiety, generalized anxiety, PTSD, borderline and histrionic personality disorders, and major depressive disorder. And so they all knotted together. And I suspect now, later on, that I probably had autism too. And I was bullied and beaten up and lit on fire, and so
that's so crazy. You never know.
It came to a point where I was like,
bro, like, did y'all niggas know that Jacksepticeye just got fucking diagnosed with autism, bro? I don't know if y'all fuck with that nigga or watch any of this shit. I don't really watch this shit, but I know he's done a lot of good for the YouTube fucking side and just an overall good person. But that's so crazy. You can really go your whole life not knowing that you had autism or some form of like not Down syndrome, but what's that shit called, bro? Special needs.
I'm gonna end my life, and I was gonna steal my dad's gun and do it. And so I told them, and they took me to Homewood here in Guelph, the mental hospital downtown. And when the doctors told them my whole diagnosis, by the time I was 18, a year later, I was homeless. I started selling my body at the age of 18, homeless without any family, and that was down. I started selling my body at the age of 18, homeless.
That's insane, bro. What?
That was downtown here at Guelph. And
that nigga was fresh meat.
That just adds to the trauma, and it feels like it's almost like a blank zone. I was homeless seven times, hospitalized 14 times.
Damn.
Lost track of how many clients I was with. It destroys you inside, and you become so dehumanized.
That's crazy, nigga.
Mental illnesses since the homelessness.
So, did you speak to a doctor initially? Did you say, "Hey, I'm considering this. What are your thoughts?"
No.
Okay, so you never got that far at that time.
That far because I was waiting for March 17th. Was when they were going to make it eligible for people with solely mental illness, and I knew I'd have a fast pass.
And then Mitchell and I went down.
Nigga got lit on fire, bro. What the fuck? On God to hear that shit. On God to hear that shit.
Downtown to discuss another group he thinks MAID may be targeting.
We're here right now because you used to live here.
Yeah, actually, when I was 18, I first found myself homeless here in the downtown core of Guelph. You can feel the temperature right now with that wind. Imagine being in a small little tent and having just cardboard to sleep on. Your mind really starts to wander, and as I said earlier, you dehumanize yourself and you start to think of yourself as less, and that really, it leads towards you considering things like MAID or on your own. But MAID would be in place where you'd be able to get accepted for it, and someone would do it for you. And if that's the problem that's stopping you, if you're stuck at passive suicide, then you get that extra nudge that you don't really need when you're already vulnerable.
Do you think people who are homeless will be targeted by the MAID agenda?
I absolutely think so. Just because through my own experience, I gained that agoraphobia and bulimia, and that made me eligible for MAID, and therefore that's already the targeting in place.
Do you think there will be people calling the hotline, or will they be propositioned and sequestered by those offering MAID?
I think a lot of people will call the hotline on their own because it's a very private matter, but I also think that there is going to be a group of professionals that are going to try and push it onto us, like like they have with veterans and Paralympians in the past.
Amidst this housing crisis and this unaffordable living crisis, could
Yeah,
anyone
motherfucker been through it on God he has.
right here in Canada
On
right
God
now?
he has.
Yeah, I think anyone could. I think if you lost your rental or you had a disagreement with the landlord or they got greedy or, you know, a lot of these corporate landlords are evicting entire buildings and increasing the rent. So you might
That's
feel
fucking
safe right now.
crazy.
You might be at home saying, well, I'm not disabled. I've got a house. That can be taken away from you so easily. I mean, all these people weren't born to be homeless. They were born to parents and they have brothers and sisters and families somewhere like I did, but they're at the edge of society and they're at their most vulnerable. And I think that's why MAID is an absolute atrocity right now, to be the priority over, you know, giving these people homes and safety and comfort.
And as we were talking, this dude heard what we were discussing and wanted to share his personal story about MAID.
All right, talk to me.
We just bumped into
Who's
you.
bro?
Can you tell me a bit about your story?
I was almost murdered about a year ago here in this
Damn!
town by a gang of 6 guys. It was awful. I don't really want to get into too much about that, but my rehabilitation has encompassed basically me just taking care of myself and the people of the community, helping me out. The system's completely failed me. When all this happened, the only kind of help that I was
Bro, I'm
really
not gonna lie. I
offered
feel
by,
like when you go searching
victim-
for a solution through the system, bro, you're always gonna end up on the short end of the stick, bro. The system fails so many fucking people.
services was therapy kind of help, and if I chose, I could take MAID.
So immediately you were presented
Damn.
the option to end your own life.
Yeah, that's how you put it.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, for me, absolutely, considering that I fought off 6 thugs to stay alive. There would be no reason for me to want to take my own life. Just the assumption that somebody is going through struggle, that they can't handle themselves or they can't accept help and bring themselves back up is atrocious. I have
That is
lots of
crazy as fuck, though. And what sick lowlife goes out and beats on the fucking homeless, dude?
And I'm not giving up. To even offer me that option is insulting.
Like what, bro?
You were also telling me that you know someone who was presented with this option and they took it.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
A member of our community here, absolutely going through hard times, emotionally, mentally. At the same time, to know that there could have been another way, and that all of his friends, most of them, kind of feel the same way. It's traumatizing to the community, actually. I guess we're kind of talking about the homeless situation in MAID right now.
Specifically, them being targeted or at least coerced into maybe using that as an exit from their financial or psychological hardships, right?
Yeah, I'm in a situation right now. I'm homeless. Due
So,
to
like,
this,
I don't understand this whole MAID thing, though. Like, I understand it to an extent. So, like, after these niggas decide that they want to take their life, what is the game for society, bro? Like, oh yeah, we just gave these niggas the options to opt themselves, but them niggas not gaining nothing. Not that they should be gaining anything for somebody else taking their life, but it's like, bro, like, I get that y'all niggas is doing it for the sake of them, but I feel like at the same time, niggas is trying to find a gain from this shit, bro.
Story, I didn't really...
Happy country, less sad people, happy country, bro. I guess, bro. I guess, but niggas should at least try to do something to help them get happy, bro. Like, I don't know, bro.
Get into
There's a thought in my head, but I
about
can't get it across
through
right
my
now.
process of the system, it's almost impossible to get out. There's lots of priorities that are put in place to make certain sections of the community not really have options. If you're in need of help and there's no help for you, the amount of abandonment can lead people to making poor choices. The stress in our society is growing. You can bet there's going to be people choosing the easy way out.
While those who are severely depressed, mentally ill, or financially hopeless, like when Mitchell considered MAID as perhaps a painless exit, what about the physical...
That's what it is. Yeah, like the game is like they're getting rid of less they're getting rid of more homeless people, bro.
Physically disabled who are being offered MAID without ever even asking for it? But real quick,
I'd be like, go on down the road, you fuck.
if you want to support our boots on the ground independent journalism that is not bought and paid for by corporate interests, along with exclusive DLC content that YouTube won't let me upload, and uncensored early access to all my videos before they go up on YouTube.
Call yourself.
That I was born very premature.
What is the condition you have?
I have spastic cerebral palsy. I was born with it. I was born very premature and should not have lived, but God had other ideas.
You're a miracle yourself.
W, miracle.
Yeah, there's no reason that I should be here. I was born at 25 weeks gestation, weighing 1 pound and 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Before NICUs were
Underweight like shit.
invented. And I was breathing on my own. There's no reason I should have been breathing on my own except for God. And I'm here because I'm concerned with the Pandora's box that this is.
Heather, when were you first made aware of the existence of MAID being offered by the government?
I was like all ears as soon as they introduced the legislation. The disabled community saw the threat right away.
Man, that's so sad, bro.
Yeah, exactly. They'll start with the terminally ill, of course, but that's just the start off point. In 2017, I started to have issues where I was having muscle spasms that started from my low back and would fire straight down to my toes and would basically lock up every muscle between those 2 points. So, second hospitalization, I had a hospitalist, which is a doctor that works in the hospital, approach me and ask if I had ever considered asking for MAID.
That's
the first time I was just stunned. I'm asking for pain control, not for death.
Not for death. Yeah, like what the fuck?
That's insane. I had to use the bathroom, so I rang for that, and she.
Yo, instead of getting medicine and shit, you would've died.
No assistance.
Like what, bro?
As she was putting the side rolls up, she said, "Have you ever considered MAID? Because this isn't quality of life. This is existing." And I just said to her, "You don't get to make that call." She said, "Well, if I were in your position, I'd take it in a heartbeat."
Like what, bro?
And I said, "The answer is no. God put me on this earth and he's the only one taking me home." And then she said, "Now you're being selfish." That was like,
what? Being selfish? How the fuck is she being selfish because she doesn't want to fucking die? Like, dude, come on, bro.
Oh, this is going somewhere not good fast.
That's crazy as hell.
You were offered MAID in every other region of Canada?
Yeah, I was offered it twice in BC or British Columbia, once in Alberta, which is in Saskatchewan, and I thankfully have had really good care here so far. It's more prevalent than you
That's
would
actually
ever
insane.
imagine.
Some because I want to live here, bro.
Clear that Canada has a
bro, I knew
housing
something fishy was
crisis
happening in
right
Canada.
now. Those lumped together with the fact that there isn't an increase in mental health support, there isn't an increase in addiction and drug support. In fact, there's a decrease. We just lost our safe consumption site, and there's already been 2 deaths. So people who are left in the behind are just going like, okay, so 2 years for an eye surgery, or 8 years for a hip, or those.
Damn, it's so crazy because niggas be like, oh, Canada got free healthcare. I can't wait to go over there. Yeah, these the same niggas telling you should fucking kill yourself in GTA, bro, just because you asked for some pain medicine.
And
like,
they feel
what?
so stressed out. They know they're not going to get mental health support. They know they're not going to get the drugs
bad
that
joke
they
should
need.
have
And
been
they're already
song
so
number 1,
dehumanized,
facts.
especially when you're homeless and you don't have a place in the world. You really have to deal with an identity crisis. And so I've been in the place that a lot of people who want MAID have been in, where they just want it for an ending. They're like, I've suffered enough. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. They repeatedly, I think it's 3 times, ask you about organ donation because they want to have the organs of these people who are too poor. And so what does that make it that the rich are, too rich to die?
Did I hear this right?
It's 3 times ask you about organ donation because they want to have the organs of these people who are too poor. And so what does that make it that the rich are, too rich to die and that the...
So these niggas is out here offering that the poor give up their organs because they're fucking poor. Like, that's crazy.
Poor to live, it just becomes.
Hey, bro, you're not gonna live. You're not gonna live any
Homeless
longer, bro. You might as well
people,
give us
drug
that organ, bro.
addictions, mentally ill.
That's a nice
Who's
kid
on
you
the
got,
hit
buddy.
list of the MAID program in your worst case scenario?
I think all of the above, because I try to correlate together that, okay, homelessness, you get agoraphobia, you get bulimia, you get these stress, PTSD kinds of things. With drug addiction, you can have different kinds of psychoses or mental illnesses pop up from that. And a lot of these people who get into those drugs and alcohol is because they're escaping.
Bro, those niggas so well spoken.
There's been instances here where people have to wait up to 5 years for
What's good, Vince?
But they can have MAID in 91 days.
So it would take longer for them to get the medical treatment.
What good, bitch? Oh, how you feeling?
Themselves.
Exactly. It's our government. And to get rid of people that have chronic conditions that use up a lot of healthcare dollars. The people that they see as non-contributing members of society. So the homeless are being targeted. Elderly are being targeted. Mentally ill are being targeted.
That's
Though
insane.
They say they're on hold, but it's just really just a facade. And children are next. They're trying to push through euthanasia for children.
Nigga, what?
Facade. And children are next. They're
minors should be eligible for assisted dying. That's
trying to
insane,
push
bro.
through euthanasia for children.
Nigga, they can't even think straight.
illnesses or terminal condition. So the child of a certain age could themselves, without their parents' consent,
That's crazy.
That's what they're trying to pass, yeah. It'll be under the guise of chronic.
Bro, niggas is pushing assisted suicides, bro. That's insane.
So there's at least been 2 or 3 cases of people in poverty, unable to pay bills, looking at homelessness, choosing MAID first. Like, the numbers are crazy. Let me get the stats up here. And
Like,
in
bro,
2016,
motherfuckers-
1,018 people chose to die by MAID.
Okay.
And nigga, it's only going up,
Choosing
bro.
16, 1,000.
It's only going up, bro. Holy shit. This shit went up by times 7 in 4 years. And goddamn, an extra 3,000. Nah, that's
18
crazy.
people chose to die by MAID.
Okay.
In 2017, 2,838.
Now I gotta see what
people
2024 is
died by
looking like,
MAID.
bro.
A doubling at least. 2018, 4,493.
That shit doubled again, bro.
2019, 5,665. And
Almost
we're
doubled.
entering the pandemic.
Yo, big turning point.
2020,
That shit on
jumps
triple,
to
nigga.
7,611. 2021 jumps to 10,092. 2022, 13,200.
Damn!
Heard that figure could double for 2023
Why are people ending their lives?
because their choice for healthcare is being denied.
Do you think the doctors see it as a productive, compassionate
Fuck
alternative
no.
to the healthcare, or is it just cost effective?
Well, I think
Nigga,
the
it's definitely
doctors are
cost
being
effective,
sold
bro.
the narrative and buying
That niggas don't wanna do it.
Some aren't. Some are.
Nigga
quitting.
says a beautiful and inspiring
Doctors are
event.
being sold the narrative.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, these niggas is sick as hell, bro. What the fuck do you mean? He said that for patients, the procedure is a relaxing drift into sleep.
And buying into
A
it.
beautiful
Some
and
aren't,
inspiring
some are
event. That's
quitting.
crazy.
I
Let's
think
get
my
right back.
doctor retired in 2016 because he saw the writing on the wall, and he's a
Like, that's
Christian
crazy,
doctor.
John
He
Ford.
couldn't be part of that. I also couldn't find proof of this, so I can't back it up. But there's also organ donations have gone up exponentially since
Oh.
MAID. That's one of the last things they ask the family is if they'll donate their organ.
You're too expensive, but we want your organs. It's dark.
It's evil.
Them niggas is trying to find a fucking. They trying to find a get out of jail free card, bro. We can kill this nigga and get his fucking organs. That's a win for us and a loss for that nigga. That's crazy.
Downright evil.
What I've learned is that MAID at its core is coercive. It's been whispering to me. I feel drawn to it all the time because it is that exit. It's replacing that passive suicide with a physical person who can do it for you at the end of the line. There's a lot of stories, if you look them up, there's a Canadian Paralympian who was offered MAID, a lot of veterans. That was a big shocker a year or two ago where they're being offered MAID instead of help with palliative care or maybe hospitalization. You get that kind of that push and that draw from
That's
those kinds of
crazy
people.
how it's
And
like
you
the
got
first
lobbyists
option,
like
nigga.
Dying with Dignity, where they come into the picture and they don't care about the poverty issue, the homelessness issue, all that. They're pushing it for a right to die. So they're saying, you know, it's dying with dignity.
Hey, bro, you fought 4 world wars, you're gonna have PTSD, bro. So you know what? Instead of offering you retirement money and shit like that, we're gonna offer you the opportunity of a lifetime. You can kill your... Like, what the fuck, bro?
My question to them is, how can you die with dignity if you didn't live with it first? A lot of us in the community have that
GTA,
passive
bro.
vitality, so we won't act on it. But if there's somebody down there who's got a pill for you,
Bro,
who's gonna
chat,
do it for
Kyle
you,
really
that's
hung
the
somebody on
coercion.
stream.
That's
That's
the easy
crazy.
way out. And when you're facing all
GTA.
these things, homelessness, poverty, drug addiction, mental health problems, especially when you're in psychosis, how do you make the right decision?
At the point in which you were offered MAID, had you indicated any desire to end your
4
life?
world wars. Y'all niggas not know what a fucking hyperbole is, bro? Like, holy fuck. Obviously, I know there's not fucking 4 world wars. Holy shit.
None whatsoever. No, I was just asking for them to do something about the pain. Nothing they gave me was helping.
If you didn't have your condition, they would have offered you MAID in that context?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's ending a life. It's murder. as
Excuse
far
me, you're
as
just
I'm
dumb.
concerned.
No, you're just fucking
And I know there's a
dumb.
lot of countries right now debating
You're just fucking
this topic,
stupid.
which is
You know
why
what
I'm
an-
talking
you don't know what an
about
exaggeration
it,
is.
Because I want those countries to know that it's a Pandora's box. Once the lid's off, there's no putting it back on.
Can you tell me about the advocacy work you're doing and your position on all of this?
Sure, yeah, I'm trying to make sure that everyone understands that this is not a black and white issue. That, you know, if you ban all those seniors and people that advocates fought for their ability to be able to end their life near, you know, the end of their own life as it is with stage 4 cancer and all that kind of stuff, that needs to be cemented and kept strong. But track 2 is the threat. It's a threat to people with disabilities. It's a threat to everyday people, because people with disabilities are made up with people who are in car accidents, victims of assault from a partner, people who are at workplace and got injured. And all of them are falling under the disability tree now. And some of those people are being denied workplace benefits, or they're dealing with that violent still, and they're stuck there because of the benefits or because of homelessness.
I never understood hitting your partner, bro.
Are percolating together.
How the fuck do you hit your significant other, bro?
Through coercion, and a lot of people were scared of it, even though they wouldn't take it. They know that they're not going to, but they know it's there. It becomes this thing in your head where it's just a chant or an echo, where you're always like, well, it's a really bad day today, but at least I have MAID. We're having a health crisis right now because of the privatization thing.
They're
so
like putting that shit down your fucking
there's
throat.
highway medicine. I haven't seen a doctor in 4 years. There's none available. If you wanted to call any one of them near my house, you'll get an answering machine that says we're not taking new clients.
Okay.
So access to those things being denied, and then the federal government not giving us the disability benefit, both the provincial and the federal government shot down basic income. There's all these provisions they could do. They could do a national disability insurance plan like Australia, the NDIS.
Man, they don't fuck with y'all, bro.
Basic
They don't
income.
fuck
They
with the
could
homeless,
do the
bro,
Canadian
the poor, which
disability
is
benefit
so
properly,
crazy.
where if we each got like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 more a month, and that was supplemented with other, basic income and a couple other things, we would all be able to thrive. But right now, across Canada, every single province and territory, their disability amount is at least 1 to 2 times below the poverty line.
So it's unlivable if you're in a position where you can't work at this point.
And that's part of the coercion. Unlivable, right?
Why not go die, right? It's more or less the message they're sending. So. Heather, why are you vocally sharing your story about MAID?
Because I have crosshairs on my back, and I need people to know it. I've said to all my family and friends, if you hear that they kill me by MAID, it's murder, because I didn't consent. And it's sick to me that I even have to say that to them, but if I ever get to a place where I can't speak for myself, I can't trust the healthcare system not to do it. I have to speak out, not just for me, but for everybody else. This is not normal, this is not right, this is not ethical in any way, shape, or form, and it should not be happening in a democracy, in a civilized country.
What's good, Big Bat?
Do you think many people who have tendencies are seeing MAID as just an escape route?
Yeah, I agree with that. The only caveat would be that I've watched for 30 years while the
Well, like,
support's
good,
in
hell yeah.
place, and I don't
I
trust
wasn't
it to
expecting
be
the
in
steak
place
to
in
be that
10
good.
years. Sure. So where am I going to be in 10 years? How mobile am I
but
going to
me,
be?
I
How
only eat how much
conscientious
food
of
I
myself
get.
am I going to be? Like, I don't even know if I'll be here because the amount of stress I deal with, I'm
What's
always
good, boy?
worrying about a heart attack or a stroke. Unfortunately, I think it is a bit of column A and column B. Column A being that it is social murder. It's a eugenics because the people who are most going to apply are the ones who are the most vulnerable, and they're getting the least amount of help. So it's just obvious social engineering, eugenics, whatever you want to call it. So since 2016, 45,000 people have been killed. 13,000 more in 2022, and it's exponentially getting bigger. California has about the same population as Canada, and California's only done 850. Why are people killing themselves in Canada with MAID 16 times more than in California?
Do you think the doctors are coercing them into this being a good option?
I think it's a perfect storm. I think it's homelessness, poverty, doctors, the misinformation, and the dying with dignity.
Rose
It's
watching?
going to be George Orwell.
Fuck Ruby and her Rose, nigga.
It's going to be any of those warnings that we were getting. You're literally too poor to live. Let us take your organs, and you saved us $86 million.
Get a Ruat,
News
W
media
fat
is
boy.
not covering it because they're all corporate
Hey,
owned.
nigga, don't
It's
ego me,
been
now I'm
an
gonna
absolute
ego you.
nightmare
Fuck
to get
you.
eyeballs on this. It's usually foreign press that comes and wants to cover MAID in Canada.
Okay. It's dystopian.
It's a big problem here because right now it costs us $80 billion to maintain poverty. So
How
why
did you
wouldn't they
get
start
home at 2
reinvesting
a.m.,
and
bro? What the
redistributing
fuck?
that and getting some people off the streets? They also let in way too many immigrants. The one other thing that I've been worried about, I said it last year and I don't know how in place it is MAID in prison. Because if you think about it, you could kill a political prisoner, get them sent to prison, make MAID their only option, which is what we're all dealing with out here. If life's unlivable in there for them, they will choose MAID, and you've just taken someone out without even firing a shot. It's a further hypothetical, but that's the slippery slopes direction.
And I've also heard that minors who may qualify for the mental illness track and deformed babies or babies with severe disabilities are now being considered. Is that real?
Yeah, that was real. That was a doctor in Quebec trying to table that, and I think that Dying with Dignity is also trying to put children in later on.
No, I didn't go to LA, bro. I went to LA after I went. Holy shit! I went to LA after I went out. After I got off my cruise, and holy shit, yeah, that LA traffic is not fucking real, bro. Like, that shit is not fucking real, dude. We were going somewhere that was literally only 10 minutes away, and that shit was a fucking 45-minute drive, bro. Like, holy fuck.
It is always a slippery slope. It's always something more has to be included, and that's what the UK is really echoing, where it's like, we might put this in place, but look what happened to Canada. Now they're doing this and this, and purely solely mental illness. Like, that's crossing the line.
And if you go back in time 2 years ago, if it was sold to you and pushed on you by multiple doctors, do you think you would have taken them up on it?
100%. Because I don't care about my life and I want to change things. And my biggest goal doing all this advocacy that I do is to make sure that I don't happen again. That there isn't some 17-year out there about to go homeless and be 18, selling his body on the streets, living in squalor.
That's crazy.
An alcoholic and just bouncing around for 20-odd, 30-odd years, not understanding what was going on and who was doing it to him. But now that I'm an advocate,
don't have any steppers,
I'm on the
bro.
other end of that, and I realized somebody was advocating for me when I was out under those bridges.
I was moonwalking in the Calabasas, bro.
And that now I have to represent 1,000, maybe a couple thousand, who are out there right now like that, in shelters, who are on the street, who aren't vocal, who aren't articulate, who don't have the spot to be able to do these kinds of messages. And that's what I'm
you.
looking for. Yeah.
I think you need to remain here.
Shout out,
you
bro.
have responsibility on your shoulders. Is there a world where MAID could be implemented against your own will at some point if some medical
hell yeah, bro, they're gonna murder her ass.
If this pandemic treaty is signed, people don't understand what's in this treaty. It's far beyond just pandemic.
Tell me what's in this treaty.
It seizes control of healthcare, period, in the nations that sign up for it. They can force vaccinate anybody with any vaccine they deem necessary. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's other laws on our books right now. We've got a Bill 63, I think it is, that's in third reading right now, that would make speaking out against our government jailable.
What?
Great Britain.
There was a time
you can't even have free speech no more, bro.
And stood up for democracy and fought for freedom, but this is a different kind of warfare.
That's crazy.
And nations are being taken without a shot being fired. It's scary. People need to wake up because it's not going to be very long before there's no going back.
While euthanasia seems to be a more controllable death for those with debilitating terminal illnesses and predictable expiration dates, one must wonder who else with the ability to live a meaningful life might be allured to the permanent escape it offers. Perhaps the country should measure its humanity not by the ease in which
what
it
are we
will help
watching?
you
We're
end your
watching the
life.
country that killed disabled people.
Either by the creation of infrastructure to help those suffering short-term hardships to get back on their feet and become productive members of society. In 2022, 63% of MAID users cited cancer as their reason to die, while only 3.5% of those who used MAID did not have terminal illnesses with foreseeable death dates. But that's an increase
So
from
niggas lied and said they had
2%
cancer
of
so
all
they could
MAID
die?
users back
That's
in
crazy.
2021, as the eligibility to receive MAID will expand to those solely with mental illnesses in 2027.
Now that's crazy.
The eligibility to receive MAID will expand to those solely.
You do not need to have a fatal or terminal condition to be eligible for medical or for MAID. Like, nigga, if you're in the right state of mind, was like, bro, fuck it, bro. Today's a bad day. I can just go out and kill myself.
With mental illnesses in 2027,
that's crazy
will
to have
more and more
access
people
to, bro.
look to MAID to escape the harsh reality of living in Canada? And will other countries look to Canada while building their own euthanasia program? And please go show some love to Heather, who just wrote a book, and show some love to Mitchell, who does graphic design.
W Mitchell and W Heather, bro. That was a good ass video, but at the same time, that's so crazy. Let me go get some more water and let me go get some more